ready. Oh, come on up. Good.
I didn't really think about this.
That'll be best.
Little ad-libby. I'm Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Been a friend of Melissa and us, about half or 2/3 of the people in this room, for 25, 26 years, a long, long time. And from, I guess, minus a brief time when you were in Santa Cruz, Melissa's house was at 5 Sonora Way, and you know, every time there was any life event in anyone in the family, you know, 5 Sonora Way was sort of the rallying point, whether that was a, you know, a good event or a bad event, or just a visit or a catch up or the beginning of a hike or a meal or a barbecue or anything. And you know, we certainly never had anything like that at my parents' house. I'm very close with my mom, and she just wasn't that hospitable, you know. And so when I think of Virginia, and when I think of Melissa, and you know, Holly and Lou and Hannah and everybody, I guess what occurs to me is the importance and the specialness of creating that space for so many of us and so many of you to be together at those kinds of events, and you know, making lifelong friends like the Andersons, and you know, just it's just been a really neat thing to be a part of, and I felt like I needed to say something about that, and that we all, I think, owe her a little thanks for that, and you know, just sort of providing that opportunity where people could grow together, and it's pretty awesome and rare. So thanks.
Hi, I'm Melissa's best friend since first grade, second grade. So I knew Virginia for most of my life. I lost my mom when I was 22, Melissa and Virginia, and the whole family was there for me. And Virginia played a very important part in my life. She was at my wedding. She was at the birth of my son. And I just want to say I'm going to miss her a whole lot. And I've met so many wonderful people for being part of your family. And I thank you for welcoming me into your family. And I'm going to miss your mom a lot. It's just great. That's all I want.
I'm Charles Anderson, and I've known these guys for, I don't know, over 30 years. And, you know, they say we don't get to pick our family, right? You end up with the family that you end up with, but we pick our friends. You can pick our friends, but you can't pick your family. But I don't know that that's really true. I think that, I mean, we became a part of this family. Like, we didn't even know what was happening. It was like suddenly we were family. And I think it was that magical something that we always felt when we went over there. And without looking, without really even thinking about it, suddenly we were family. And we didn't pick you. You know, it just happened. We became family because it was supposed to happen.
I don't know how I'm gonna get through this.
With all of us.
I know. Yeah, I've known. Okay. You know, my mom just told me I need to steel myself, so I'm gonna I've known Jenny my whole life, and I've been to every single stealing. I've been to every single Christmas Eve, and I couldn't. me to sing What a Wonderful World. In just a second.
Look at, there's a list on the wall.
Look at that. So good. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Whew. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see blue for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Okay. It's kind of stealing. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, a bright blessed day and the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I see babies crying, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Thank you, guys. Okay.
In Jewish tradition, which is something that Virginia chose to become part of, we are taught that when you come into this wonderful world, you have an opportunity and a responsibility to learn how wonderful it is. And the way in which you do so is you understand that your life has meaning and purpose in the process of finding yourself. However many lives that self may generate, as she did, in each and every iteration, it was coming into her own truths of living the best and fullest that she could with the values and attributes that she was given and that she chose. And when you look at Virginia, I only knew her as Ginny, by the way, but I'm hearing everybody calling her Virginia, so I'm just meeting another one of her lives, I guess, as we go. First of all, the only reason I know this family is because of her. Because she was the one really that pushed the kids and got them there and involvement when they were once little to be part of Jewish community life where we learned and taught these kinds of values. So the tradition says you come in here and you enter a covenant, a partnership with life, a relationship with people, which is where you find the energy of life. And Ginny truly aligned herself with values of caring on her terms, but caring nevertheless. Caring in the sense of understanding that if anything is going to get done in this world to make it a better and indeed wonderful place, it's going to be up to us to make that happen and to do it in ways that we can be comfortable with. And that's what she did. So among so many other attributes, her home was always a welcoming place. And boundaries were blurred in the sense of whether you were my birth family or whether you were my adopted family. But once you became part of it, as Charles mentioned, you're in it. Whether you realized it or not, you're part of the family. And however memories were woven by people enjoying that level of hospitality and being part of this family, it also connected in other ways, where Ginny understood that that which was wrong in this world could not be ignored. So she was passionate about the rights of others and addressing issues for people who didn't have people to be concerned about them. She was passionate about any area of politics that was about justice and fairness. In her way, she was dedicated to one of the major principles of Judaism, which is to do your part to try and make the world a better place. Put it back together where you can to make it wonderful again. Tikkun Olam, we call that. She was a fan of the underdog, and she rooted for them in every way that she could. While she would not see herself as the wealthiest person in the world, she was a philanthropist. She used her wherewithal to support causes, which is one of the reasons she'd be, as Louis pointed out, delighted to be here in a place dedicated to helping those who need shelter, who need love and care. So she's here with us in guiding. Gina, I guess you found the spot? Here, she's part of that energy. And it always started where Judaism does start, at home, with family, helping our kids, being of support to them. She might give them a loan and then refuse to take anything back, so it ended up being a gift. And she made their friends her friends. And the warmth and the care that she showed to friends of all ages was contagious. She did, as Louis pointed out, I think, collect people. She was a collector. I don't know how many of those she had delivered from the garage sale. But that's what she was about. So her family was large because it kept growing over 35 years of friends becoming family. And what you got with Ginny was a stability and a consistency and a love for those that she loved. She didn't love everybody, but if you were loved, you were loved. And part of that love was what was already alluded to, the parties that were held in that home. She may not have ventured out to other places, but didn't need to, because there was enough energy right at home to welcome people and to have parties for friends and for the kids, for everybody, really. And I think one of the neat things about her was her childlike qualities. She was a spiritual seeker, and she would seek it under her pillow if necessary. Crystals that might be there. Whatever it was that allowed her to feel the depths of awareness that there's more to life than just what meets the eye. She really had, in her way of expression, a connection with God and with bringing godliness into life. Because what Judaism accentuates is, if you're looking to connect with God, try the person next to you and see God's presence in people and in time and in circumstances. And that she did abundantly in creating memories for people in terms of her caring. She loved reading, as Louis said, which is an example of human creativity that she would tap into was her way of escaping some of the overwhelm of the realization that she couldn't solve all the world's problems. That somehow that lotto didn't come her way. So she used her own wherewithal and abilities to keep her balance. And she loved the reading, whether it was escape literature or whatever it was. The spiritual literature, she loved that stuff. And she had a very godlike approach in saying what we say in Hebrew, Yehi Tov. Everything will be okay. There's a commitment to that. It's a mantra. And so, for us, we have to understand that as well. In reconciling the fact that we lost her too soon, for whatever circumstances may have created that. But on the other hand, from God's point of view, whether we're here for a day, a year, 100 or more, it's all a moment in God's time. And it is indeed what Louis mentioned, the lives that she led, packing this world with so much of her own sense of the richness of this world, that the quantity of time was eclipsed by the quality of the moments that she loved with family, with friends, and in special moments and times together. The child in her loved to collect dolls. The child in her loved magic. The child in her loved to live in a make-believe world. And every one of the adults in this room that would look at that and say, well, that's childish, I would say, do more homework on that. And come to know that when it comes to this world, we are all children of the Creator. And all of us are responsible to allow the beauty of this world, all of the natural phenomena of this world that we take so for granted because we live and breathe it, to not be taken for granted, and to realize that each new day and each new moment is a special, wondrous experience, alluded to by Rosie's song. This is who she was, living her truths, calling it like it was, whether it sounded good or not to some or others, but she was authentically Virginia. She was herself, and in so doing, she honored God in the way that she brought some wonderful memories and experiences and treasures of moments into the lives of people. And of course, adoring the grandchildren, particularly the little one, Hannah. I mean, just, this was her connection to childhood and keeping that vibrancy going. So, as we move forward and beyond this celebration of her life, I'd like to remind you from a childlike point of view that physicality is overblown. The physical connections that we have is not the only part of life. There's the imagination, there are the memories of moments shared, and there are the opportunities for any one of us to tap into our own attributes wherever they may be, and perhaps have been covered over by layers of adulthood. To know that you're going to continue on with her. She's not going anywhere. She was too vibrant to do that. Her many lives will continue on now in a life that isn't physical, but it is spiritual, and it is the emotions of the attachments that she had to the people that were part of her lives and to the causes that stirred her so. So when you continue on, realizing you can't physically connect with her, do keep in mind and in heart that you'll continue to be able to spiritually and imaginatively connect with her through at least the starting point, the various memories that each one of you has in your own ways of the times that you shared with her. Those are great gifts, and they're part not only of this world, but of life eternal. And our tradition says that people who lived as she, her authentic truths and looking to make life a little better for others that needed that, that energy continues on in this world, in the life that she led, and in the memories that you treasure about her. She'll continue on. She'll be here with you. You just have to open your hearts and your memories to see it, to feel it, and to let her contribute to you, discovering more of your own authenticity, your own particular attributes, and the ways in which you can give uniquely to life as she did in her own unique way. In that capacity, she continues on in this world, even as she moves on to what we call Olam Haba, the world of eternity and essence and ongoing God presence, where she now gets to be with her Maker, and who knows what they're up to together. She is quite something in that regard. So, as we move along with her in a different way, we say from our tradition's point of view, Adonai Natan v'Adonai Lakach. God has given and God has taken a very special partner to life, a precious presence of God in the way she lived in her own unique way. And as she moves on to that next realm, and we move on to connecting with her in different ways, we say, Yehi Shem Adonai Mevorach. We thank God for her and say, blessed be the name of our God. Please rise if you're able for a prayer in loving memory of our beloved Virginia Ginny Kipilman. El Malay Rachamim Shochein Bamromim